Hello, Bob Van Rossum with MarketPro. As an executive search firm, in our case, specifically marketing executive search, and about half of what we do being chief marketing officers, we get a lot of questions from clients, from candidates. Is reference checks something that you guys still do? Are reference checks valuable? And how do you go about the reference checking process for candidates, right? And the reality is, yes, we do reference checks. And I anticipate that will continue for this foreseeable future. Like, I don't see that changing. Now, that's a separate question than, is reference checking valuable and does it add value to the process? And so here's how we go about that, right? We, as a marketing executive search firm, have 88,000 candidates in our applicant tracking system that we've taken through a deep dive interview process. And so we know lots and lots of people. And reality is, most executive search firms will talk to clients about how our network, the people that we know, allow us better access to talent. And honestly, that's not the biggest reason why you want to pick an executive search firm who knows a lot of people and who has a strong network. Because the reality is, we can target anybody in the country. The technology exists. The data's out there for us to find any piece of information we want, to be able to target candidates whether we know them or not. And for every search, that's a process we have to go through. But where our network adds tremendous value, right, is when we're talking to candidates and we're bringing our clients top talent, and we want a back channel reference. We want to know how this person has done, and we want to talk to someone independently of the process, right? So not someone that they gave us. So if you're going through our executive search process as a candidate, you will go through 2 interviews with MarketPro team members prior to ever going to our client. And it's a very rigorous process, right? We're going to talk to you about performance-based interview questions. We're going to talk to you about, and we're going to talk to you about behavioral-based interview questions. We're going to layer in top grading interview questions. And as we talk to candidates, they'll say, well, I've worked with other executive search firms in the past, and your interview process was more structured, more detailed than I've seen before, right? And so if a candidate makes it through that process, gets to our client, and then makes it through our client's interview process, right? We're only presenting the top 12, 13% of candidates we interview to our clients. We're ruling out, 87, 88% of candidates we interview before they ever get there. Now our client's taking them through an interview process, and they're now going to let them meet typically, if it's a CMO search, the CEO. If it's a head of e-commerce, head of brand, head of digital, they're going to meet the CMO. They're going to meet the hiring manager. They're going to meet peers. They're going to meet someone in finance. They're going to meet someone in HR. And now as we go through that process, we're going to further take that very tight short list of candidates we presented them and determine who's the right fit for the organization. And now as we get to the end of the process and we check references, what are the chances that we end up with a bad reference? And it's virtually zero, right? It is virtually impossible for someone to get through that detailed of a process, be selected to be hired, and then not be capable of providing us with 4 people who say they do a good job. And so that's your traditional reference checking process. And it will continue, because it's a CYA move for the corporation. It's a CYA move for HR, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we're going to make sure that if something doesn't work in this process, and it's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months down the road, we as an organization can say we did everything possible to ensure that it was a good result, and here's all the things we did, and as part of that, we checked references. We did a background check, all those things, right? But in reality, that's not how reference checks benefit the search process. It's not how reference checks benefit our client. It's the conversations we have along the way as we're interviewing candidates. And we say, hey, this is someone we're getting close to presenting. This is someone we're serious about and excited about for our client. Let's see who we know that also knows them and can now speak to their background experience and what it's like to work with them. And it's what we call a back channel reference, right? And so we talk to that individual and say, hey, we'd like to talk to you about John Smith, and this is just between us. He's not going to know we had the conversation. Our client's not going to know we had the conversation. None of this information will be shared with anyone external of this conversation. And let's talk and have a little bit of a conversation about who this person is, accomplishments, etc. That is an incredibly valuable process and an incredibly valuable part of what we do for our clients in making sure that they get the right person. And that's where we will find times where people will open up and share information that we wouldn't get any other way. And it further helps us vet and screen and make sure that the people that we are sending to our client are the very best top talent possible. So all that to say, as we go through an executive search process for a senior level marketing executive, we, as a standard part, do back channel reference checking for the people we present. And we do actual traditional reference checking at the end of the process for the final 2 or 3 candidates. But it's very unlikely that in that traditional reference checking process, after they've gotten through everything we've done from an interview perspective, everything our clients done from an interview perspective, and we've really separated A players from everybody else, that they're not going to be capable of finding 4 people who will say something good.